So one of the first big diplomatic battles of President Donald Trump's second term seems to have concluded, at least for now, and that is, of course, a diplomatic battle with the South American country of Colombia. This is the country, of course, where the president, Gustavo Petro, had refused to take back illegal migrants who had been deported by the United States. They had been sent back to Colombia in military, not civilian flights, and two such flights were rejected by Colombia's president. They were in fact sent back. Donald Trump then responded by dropping the hammer really on Colombia and announcing sanctions against Colombian government officials, and also threatening very, very high-scale tariffs on Colombian goods. Colombia had then responded by also slapping tariffs on American goods and services in Colombia. Of course, this was then becoming a major spat between America as well as a major South American country. But now cooler heads seem to have prevailed, and a situation has arisen where Colombia has agreed that it will take back these illegal migrants that have been deported from the United States. And of course, America has also agreed to take back the tariffs that it had slapped on Colombia. But what it has also said is that some of the other restrictions that it had placed on Colombia will stay in place until the first flight of deportees lands in Colombia. That is the situation right now. It seems, of course, that the spat between Colombia and America has eased, but it is being seen by many people around the world, and also more specifically in Latin America more generally, as a sign of things to come. Now, why exactly are they seeing it as a sign of things to come? Well, first of all, Donald Trump has been very clear that illegal immigration and deporting illegal migrants who have come into the United States is an absolute top political priority for him. And of course, it should be, since it was one of the key planks on which he won re-election and defeated the Democratic Party early over the last couple of years. Illegal migration into America has increased steadily. A large number of countries in Central America and South America have had serious economic and political troubles at home, and people have been escaping that that chaos back at home and have been moving to the United States through countries like Mexico as well as through other routes. The United States has been very clear under Donald Trump that it wants to deport illegal migrants and wants to stop this inflow of migrants. So Donald Trump, again, has pushed very, very heavily to deport illegal migrants and also to stop more migrants from coming in. In fact, throughout the country, America, over the last week, we've seen the immigration authorities being authorized to use raids and other forms of force to deport illegal migrants. In fact, one of the stories we were just tracking is a report that gurudwaras in America are also being raided by customs authority by immigration enforcement authorities to find illegal migrants, because of reports that in fact they may be illegal migrants holed up there or using those gurudwara services. That has caused another controversy, but really Donald Trump making clear that this is an absolute priority for him. Now, because of that, he is now going to have to navigate a set of complicated diplomatic challenges with a number of Central American countries as well as South American countries, including Colombia. These are, of course, the countries that are going to have to take back the illegal migrants who have gotten into the United States, who are now who have migrated to the United States. And Colombia was the sign of a battle that Donald Trump may have to wage with other countries, including Mexico, as well as another bunch of Central American countries. And in this first battle, it seems that Donald Trump has got what he wanted. The president of Colombia, of course, Gustavo Petro, is a well-known leftist. He was someone who basically claimed that the human rights of the migrants were being violated. They're not being treated like humans because they were being sent back on military flights, not civilian ones. He took exception to that. He also had some very, very strong words about Donald Trump. But now, after this threat of tariffs, as well as the threat of reciprocal tariffs from Colombia, it seems that both sides have now decided to back down. Colombia will accept these illegal immigrants coming back into Colombia, and America will agree to remove some tariffs. But like I said, some restrictions will remain, such as sanctions placed on certain officials until that first batch of migrants lands in Colombia. So that is it seems like the conclusion of a diplomatic battle, and a lot of countries in the region are going to be looking at this sort of diplomatic battle between Donald Trump, because what Donald Trump is saying is that if you play fast and loose with me on this particular issue of illegal immigration, I will use coercive economic instruments. This is, of course, coming off the back of Donald Trump making territorially expansionist claims, talking about the Panama Canal. Panama, again, a Central American country very close to the United States. Donald Trump believes that this country is taking advantage of America economically, has threatened to use economic force and so on and so forth to secure American interests. So a large number of Latin American countries as well as Central American countries are going to look at this and say that, we are going to face immense pressure from Donald Trump. Look at what he's done with Colombia, and therefore we may have a strong incentive to oblige the American president on issues of illegal immigration. That is where we are at this point in time. But while Colombia seems to have backed down, for now, it is not entirely clear how other countries are going to deal with this issue. We know that Brazil, for example, has come out and has really slammed America for how it has handled this particular issue. It has not been happy. And again, Brazil is the preeminent power in the region. That is absolutely a key issue. And the broader geopolitical context to all of this is, of course, China. Lots of people, if you go on Twitter, listen to people who cover Latin America very closely, what they're saying is that, look, if you treat Latin American countries as if they're adversaries, if you threaten tariffs at the drop of a hat, you may have a strong reason to want them to take back illegal migrants, and that is certainly a top concern. But this is also a time when China is trying to carve out a greater foothold in Latin America, trying to build stronger economic relationships with a number of these countries, is trying to position itself as a country that is easier to do business with and work with. And if the United States is very heavy-handed in a region where, remember, it is not extremely not very popular. Remember that India has neighborhood challenges. America has neighborhood challenges as well. It is not always the most popular country in its own neighborhood, yet it has very strong linkages with these countries. So the idea is that if you are extremely heavy-handed with the countries in Central America and Latin America, that they are much more likely to want to work more closely with China and align themselves more closely in that direction. Now, of course, America also has established relationships in this part of the world. Donald Trump has also been clear that illegal immigration is a huge problem, and this seems to be an issue, judging by Colombia's reaction to how it has backed off on this particular dispute, that it is not something that at this point in time countries want to get into a fight with Donald Trump over. But at this point in time, of course, what the situation is that lots of experts raising concerns about how is this going to look if we are going to also have to take on China. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, by the way, of course, considered to be a Latin America expert, and that is going to be, of course, extremely important to how the broader relationship continues. So what we've also seen now is tensions between Colombia, tensions between the United States. For now, they seem to have subsided. But really, even the president of Donald Trump made a social media post where he came down very hard on Colombia. The Colombian president has also made a social media post. In fact, it's in front of me right now. It's in, of course, Spanish, but he said that Trump is going to wipe out, the president of Colombia, this is, said that Trump is going to wipe out the human species because of greed. And he also saying that Trump considers the Colombians an inferior race. And now that is some very, very strong language coming from the president of Colombia. That's a fairly sharp response. But again, the two key points that I wanted to leave you with here on this live are that right now, Colombia seems to have backed off on this key issue. But again, a symbol of how Donald Trump will be using America's power and his power as president to push Latin American countries to oblige America on this issue of illegal immigration. And not make life difficult for America. That's definitely the first point. Some countries, of course, have already started pushing back. Mexico was threatened with economic tariffs by America, and it has pushed back very strongly and said, we will slap tariffs if you do this to us. Canada has also threatened to push tariffs back on the United States if it works with it in this way. Like I said, Brazil has already slammed America for its handling of this issue with Colombia. Of course, supporters of Donald Trump will argue that, look, this is just chatter. Ultimately, these countries know that the Americas are dominated by the United States, and that America is the dominant player in this part of the world, and they cannot expect to be the cause or the root cause of a massive illegal immigration problem and then expect to get off easily. They know that America is the neighbor they have closest by, and they will have to cooperate with America on these issues. And using strength and firmness to settle this issue is far, far better than, for example, the policy of President Biden which was seen to have failed in terms of stemming the flow of illegal immigration. And Donald Trump saying, of course, and this is something that others have commented on in the past as well, that Donald Trump has said in private, personally in the past, that, I have to be tough on this issue, otherwise people will take advantage of us when it comes to the issue of illegal immigration. People will continue to come here. Countries will not feel the need to push back on this key issue. So Donald Trump, again, showing that he means business on this key issue. He's determined to talk tough and also act tough on this issue. And a number of Latin American countries will have to decide how they want their policy and their relationship with America to continue, and whether China can benefit as well. I was seeing a lot of commentary that China's ambassador in Colombia, right after this the series of tensions began with America, has been active on social media, has been tweeting about how good China-Colombia relations are. Again, China making hay while the sun shines. So big questions also about how China will look at this spat between America and a number of Latin American countries as an opportunity to expand its own influence. That's all we have right now here for you on India Today Global, but we'll keep you absolutely updated on this story.